What is up, everybody? This is the Rook and The Kid podcast, episode 14. I'm the Rook, Jared Maid. I'm joined by...
Andrew the Kid.
What's going on? Once again, we are in different locations again, so we are separated, which, we're going to make it through it. We're going to make it through it.
It's been a rough few days, man. I don't have my snickerdoodle, my Robin, my sidekick.
Snickerdoodle? I've never heard that one before.
Anyway, I was trying to explain to you guys. I'm just,
I don't have my Robin. I don't have my Nightwing. I don't have my Spider-Man to my Iron Man,
I have. Now what do I have?
Nothing. Now I guess I got nothing.
I used to want some little Rugrats of my own. With a Countess. Ain't that a bitch?
But I cannot wait for the next season of The Boys to come out. I've seen some promo for it, and Jeffrey Dean Morgan, the dude from The Walking Dead. Negan,
yeah, I saw he's like filming in it.
Like, for sure he's going to be a badass character.
He's probably gonna be like a hardcore like Sigma. Like there's no way he's not.
His lines, his script has got to be maybe arguably twice as good as Soldier Boy's.
That's so hard to tough though.
But his one-liners in what's it called, The Walking Dead, are hilarious. Holy shit, you scared the shit.
And you already know how The Boys gets down. Like that, they're so extravagant with all their lines and just like you sit there and you're like, what the hell are they talking about? Like,
you are creepy as shit.
You are creepy as hell. Yeah. That's do you know when season 4 comes out?
I think it comes out later this year. I want to say maybe summer. I mean, didn't it end like beginning of last year or something? It seems like we watched it forever ago.
Let's see. It ended like...
Because you remember I watched it
like
and
March?
then I rewatched it all with you. So it had to, yeah.
It was like March, right?
Yeah. Let me see if I can find it. But yeah, like it's been a while. It's got to be this year, I think.
Yeah, and apparently, there's a more messed up scene than the first scene of season 3, which I don't even know how you can top that. But when you're micro size in a man's private part, like I don't see how you're gonna. What is more disgusting than that? I am so intrigued to see.
I think it might be in August.
August?
I think.
Yeah, that's gonna be one hell of a show.
Season 4, everything we know. There's no official release date for The Boys season 4. So it's recommissioned in June 2022 with the season 3 finale airing on July 8th. Yeah, I know they did a Boys. That's probably what paused it. They did the Boys like prequel show. No, they made like a little, like they're like college kids or something like that. They're college kids with powers. So like it's like
Sky High.
It's connected. Yeah, it's basically like Sky High. Zoom. Yeah. Did you ever watch a movie with Tim Allen called Zoom?
Zoom, no.
No.
Watch Sky High though.
Yeah, Sky High is legendary. I haven't seen that movie in probably 12 years.
But no, I have not seen the movie Zoom.
I wouldn't recommend, to be honest. Zoom. All right, so we got a couple things on the plate for you guys today. MLB Opening Day was last Thursday. We had planned on doing the podcast originally on Sunday, but plans have changed. Your boys have been out on the move recently. But Opening Day was last Thursday for the Major League Baseball League. We're going to have some AL West predictions for the division winners. We're going to have some AL MVP and Cy Young predictions. And this is kind of a risk, but it's big news in news today, and I guess entertainment. Andrew Tate was released from a Romanian jail, so now he's put on house arrest, so I might get a step into that for just a little bit. Your boy, the kid, hit a couple bets, which we'll get into as well. The boy got a little richer over the weekend, and then we'll have a TRAK Ranking segment for you guys, which should be pretty interesting. It'll be our top 3 basically disses or disrespectful moments in entertainment and celebrity and sports history. So, which that'll always be interesting when we get to a broad topic. Let's start with MLB opening day. So last Thursday, our guys, your Astros started against the
White Sox.
The White Sox, correct? And then they moved over to Seattle, right?
They're playing Detroit right now.
Okay.
Last time I checked, they were down 2-0 in the bottom of the third.
Okay, gotcha. I know they're like 2-2, I think.
Yeah, they're definitely struggling a little bit.
Yeah, they ain't no struggling at this point.
And dude, the playoffs are about to start too, man. We need to pick it up. Head ass.
We got 162 billion games left.
Let's see. We're in game number 5. We got about 158 more games to go. I think we'll be okay. I think we'll be all right. You know,
3. Are they in trouble?
Bro, Bregman has still not got a hit. He's batting 0% right now.
Did he do it? Do you know if he did okay, like spring training? Like it matters. They're only gonna play like 4 or 5
Nah, I don't keep up really with spring training that much because it's like it's just spring training.
I keep up with the World Baseball Classic a little bit because they actually try. Like I know they're trying in spring training, but it's more like getting into shape. A lot of the
it's just crazy because he's like Bregman's been so well known to not chase pitches, very smart hitter. Maybe not like, I'm not saying he hits the ball all the time, but he doesn't strike out with swinging at dumb throws. But this year, man, he's already starting to have a little, I know it's so early, but striking out, he's up 3-0 in a count with the guy on base and he swings and grounds out to shortstop. I'm like, bro, you're up 3-0 in the count.
Right.
Just
yeah.
At least see a pitch.
Yeah.
But
early on, a lot of times they give him a green light. They're like, oh, it's early on. Get him in a groove. You get your pitch, swing at it. And I think that's probably what he's doing. But, like you said, it's no time to panic. I mean, what did he bat last year? I think like 240 something. 230s. And then he had a couple bombs.
Alvarez is hitting pretty well so far. Abreu's hitting pretty well. And McCormick, he bats 6. So
he's the center fielder, right? He's the outfitter that really has never been a great hitter.
Yeah, so in what the Astros like to do too is that since they have a pretty good hitting lineup each year, is if somebody's struggling, they will move around the lineup. So it's if Bregman continues to struggle at the 2 spot, they'll probably move him to the 6 and then put McCormick at 2nd. They like to move. They love moving around their rotation. Especially in the playoffs, when they had Correa wasn't hitting too well. They put him all the way down to 7.
Yeah.
Which is insane. Now, Carlos Correa at 7 is insane.
Right.
For a normal MLB.
But it also could pay off. It's like, he's struggling. We'll get the guys that are hot up at the top. But if Correa ever gets hot,
it's low risk. It's very low risk, high reward.
Yes.
It's
a smart managerial decision.
That's the one thing I like about them, what they do, because not a lot of teams are willing to be like, oh, well, this guy's usually a good hitter. He usually bats 2nd. Let's move him all the way down to 7.
Right.
And, it's a pride thing, too. Not many people, especially when you've been known your whole life to just hit baseballs and actually, you need to go all the way down.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And I've never – I like those decisions because, they go, oh, my God, they're putting this guy and this guy in front of Correa. Correa's you could change the game in one swing of the bat. It's okay, exactly. Now, think about it. If your other guys are hot, and you got and then you got Correa at 7, you got runners on late in the game, and they're like, oh, good, we're getting to the bottom of the lineup, but you got a Correa. He, like I said earlier, he could change the game in one swing of the bat. And when y'all lost Correa, you're like, oh, crap, who do we replace him with? Well, the World Series MVP, Pena, or right? Was he?
Yeah, he was MVP.
Pena. I always want to say Alvarez because he's incredible in the postseason. But yeah, I mean, he's a fantastic replacement. He's going to have an excellent year this year. I think he'll bat north of 270 and north of 20 home runs and maybe 100 RBIs. I think he's going to be great. But I mean, like that's a good managerial decision. And I see, the Rangers doing a lot of stuff like that, more on the defensive side. And to be fair, I have not gotten to watch or wanted to watch the Rangers in about almost a decade. I've still always been a fan, and I haven't switched sides. But there's like I said in the video on my Instagram, there's nowhere to watch these games, especially if you have YouTube TV. You have
to have MLB Pass. It's so they're so like terrorists with that shit because it's like, why is it so hard to watch a baseball game? And like before, the Rangers and Astros were always on FS1 or like whatever it's called, FSN. You could watch it every day, 7:00, 7:05, and but now it's like you can't even like see it. But I understand your pain with the not being able to watch them. Man, when I used to watch the Astros from like 2009 to like 2013, it was rough. They're winning like 55 games, bro.
I was watching those games too. Yep.
It was so. You got Wandy Rodriguez as
your
boys
were like
pitcher.
49 and 100. It was bad.
you got Carlos Lee, Michael Bourne, Wandy Rodriguez. A little bit of Roy Oswalt in the beginning, but man,
Roy Oswalt looked like a homeless man's thumb, but he was a great pitcher. And you got Wandy Rodriguez, who looked like
Wandy Rodriguez is a good pitcher, but he should not be your number one pitcher. There's no reason why.
He could barely touch 90, right? I mean, he wasn't
the hardest. A lefty.
They both had that whopping like curveball, like especially Wandy Rodriguez. Like he had that. I think he threw like a 12-6, where 12-6 is 12-6 like a clock. For those that don't know, I never liked Wandy. Plus, he was like 5'7". It was like watching a bull rider trying to pitch.
Well, they definitely weren't pitching like Tim Lincecum or Garrett Cole. That's for sure.
No, that's a goat right there, Tim Lincecum. Oh my gosh!
My 1 year of Little League baseball, and I was a pitcher. I used to love Tim Lincecum. I had that flow going down.
Yeah.
And then I wanted to pitch like him, but he pitches like this, like his head turned. I was like, I can't do that, bro.
Yeah.
He'd be like this, and he'd look at him and just hose him down the fucking pipe, and I was like, woohoo, that's a bad man right there.
I was a copycat player. I think every year I switched my batting stance to one of the Rangers players. I started out with Elvis Andrews. So I would chuck my arms up when I batted. I would chuck my arms out when I batted and kind of click my wrists. And then I went to Ian Kinsler, where I had.
Was he low?
He was kind of like right in here and then up here sometimes, but he was standing up straight, and he would shake his hips as he was. He would step and kind of shake his hips and lock his, like it was like a whole routine. So I copied that a little bit, and then Josh Hamilton was right before that. I would just have the bat on my shoulders, which I ain't know Josh Hamilton, but
that dude had a lot of power. That dude had power behind him.
Yeah, once I got my senior year, I think, and going into JUCO, that's when I was developed into a batting stance that fit my best needs, and whatever. I've never was the best hitter.
What was it like, Ichiro?
Oh, dude. So I had a difficulty in that front foot step. So what you don't want to do, for those that don't know, but what you don't want to do is when you're stepping to hit the baseball, you don't want your front leg to go straight when you're swinging, because that causes you to pull the ball. So that was my problem. So I spent a year and a half with a coach in high school. I got lessons, and I would practice on basically you start in the position where you want to finish at. So I wouldn't take a step. I would just whoa. And it was very difficult, but you had to minimize head movement. You had to kind of have a slight bend in your front knee, have that bat angle. You didn't want to wrap it around your head, all that stuff. And so once I got into Panola, I shortened it up and actually took my feet out a little wider. And then my bat was in a position where it was lower and more back. So it was very complex. And my coach Shelton, was super, super anal about it. I mean, Eric, come on, mate. He'd sit back there with his sunflower seeds, and he'd say, come on, mate, you got to be able to hit the baseball, swing about 60%, fucking hit it the other way. Let's see. The medical guy has some comments for you. Ohtani should win MVP every year until he retires, unless he gets hurt. That's
Well, what's
bold.
funny? I was gonna pick him as my MVP this year, so I agree with Cuzzo right here. That man is just different.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But nobody does what he does, so it's almost like I don't know. Because in football, it's different. Where if you have a Swiss Army knife player, you're not gonna give him the award most likely. Like no one, that doesn't really matter in that sport. But in baseball, no one's ever done it before. Nobody really ever can do it. I mean, you can be a utility player, then play first, catcher, and third, and maybe left and right field. People have done that before, and usually those guys don't have a tremendous amount of success, winning MVP awards. But then you get a guy like Ohtani, who, like Jacob says, is probably top 5, top 7 pitcher and hitter in the league. It's tough. It's like, like your LeBron James argument. You could give him the MVP like almost every year statistically. You could do the same for Ohtani because no one else is doing what he's doing. So yeah, I mean, that's a front runner. Like from the beginning of the season, before it even starts, you're like, okay, Ohtani's up there because he's pitching a sub-3 ERA and he's batting, over 270.
He's batting right now. He's batting .33 right now. He's batting over 300.
Yeah, so
and he had 10 strikeouts his first game. He already hit a home run. He has 3 RBIs, and looking at it, I'm looking at the Angels, and they're hitting. They got their leadoff hitting 500. Mike Trout's hitting 364. Ohtani is 333. And then they got their third baseman who bats 7th. He's hitting over 400.
So I don't even count averages now, because they've only had 10 to 20 at bats. This question is directed towards you, Hunter. This is from the medical guy.
The Bofa guy on the Rangers is supposed to be good too. Bofa who? Bofa who?
Yeah, that Bofa guy, the Rangers. Yeah, Bofa these nuts. Yeah, hey, don't sleep. I don't predict, and we can go right into it. We kind of already talked about Bofa. Bofa.
Bofa these nuts, boy.
We kind of already talked about opening day for the most part. We're not going to cover all 30 teams because who gives a shit. But the Rangers and Astros, which is going to be entertaining for us too, because I'm basically out for the count. I'm like the only Rangers guy in the group. So just like how you are kind of the only guy that has a deferring opinion for the most part on Dak Prescott, I'm the only guy that's a Rangers fan in our whole entire podcasting group. So it should be really fun.
This whole time I thought Cuzzo was a Rangers fan. I don't know why, but
that boy lives and dies Houston, except for football because you can't pick the Texans.
Man, Cuzzo, I did not know you were an Astros fan. That's some good stuff right there.
I know he's a Dallas Stars fan. I know he's a Cowboys fan, and then I know he is an Arkansas fan because Woo Pig Chewy, and then
they're like bacon in here.
Yeah.
You watched the Razorback game this weekend?
They make the case for me to dislike the Razorbacks more than I dislike Alabama and Texas. It is very difficult the way they present themselves for me to be like, I don't actually hate Arkansas more because it would be a lie. It's up there, but it's always entertaining because I think you saw it. Remember, I brought you down for a play-by-play commentating, and I said, I bet you're wearing an A&M polo. I said, I bet you Gramps, which is me and Jacob's grandparent, I bet you Gramps comes in there and says something about your A&M polo. And what did he say?
He was like, I said, how's it going? I was like, Hunter, nice to meet you. He's like, he said his name, and then he was like, looks like we got another Aggie in here.
And scoffs. He was like,
scoffs is like, he gave like this look at this. Yeah, he's like, he just looked, he was like, looks like we got another Aggie in here. All, low monotone voice. And I was It's like,
I've always said to my family, I said, if my Gramps ever cussed, it would be the funniest thing in the world because he never does. And he's got the perfect voice for it. If he had a vulgar mouth, it would be hilarious. But I'm glad that he doesn't. But just my explicit mind was thinking that, you know. But to shout out to Gramps, diehard Arkansas fan. But yeah, so let's get into our AL MVP predictions. There's a couple names out there. You know, of course you got Yordan Alvarez. You got maybe Bryce Harper when he gets back. He's in the NL, but that's always my take on the NL.
He's gonna miss too much. Bryce Harper won't be back until like August.
You could. There's a lot of young guys. I mean, Ohtani, like we mentioned. There's always Mike Trout, Aaron Judge.
I like Alvarez too. I know the Astros. You know, it's still early, but you know, especially with Altuve going to be gone for at least 55 games. Alvarez is most likely going to bat probably over 300, have the home runs, and you know he's going to be their offense. You know, I know sometimes he DHs and stuff, but
yeah,
you know it also has to do with like the record. And it's surprised how like Mike Trout got so many MVPs because the Angels have just been dog shit for the last like 10 years.
Right. They can have the best roster in the MLB, and then they'll still finish 81-81.
Well, it's funny because Barry McCockner on Twitter mentioned a funny point about Mike Trout. He said, Mike Trout could jump out of the TV screen and be in my living room, and I still would not know who Mike Trout was. Like, and it's funny because it's like.
It's true.
Yeah, you're just like.
You'd see him at HEB. You'd be like, okay, there's a guy getting some ground beef. Okay. But you would be like, holy smokes, that's Mike Trout.
Yeah, it's like, and he's like, yeah, you say he's Mike Trout, and I'd be like, who the hell is Mike Trout? Like, but yeah, because Mike Trout was always the guy. He always hit like over 30 home runs, have like over
100
50,
RBIs,
over 50 bases stolen. Like he's just an all-around baseball player, but his team was just dog shit.
Yeah.
And it's definitely not like the NBA and, you know, record-wise.
Right. I kind of compare him to when Blake Bortles was in his prime. He just put up crazy numbers for those like 1 to 2 years because he had all these like garbage time yardage and touchdowns or whatever. And you're like, hell yeah. And the same thing with Mike Trout. He's on a shit team. He's got all these players around him, and then just ends up putting the same stat line every year, and you're like, okay, but where's he getting you?
I mean, it's like no disrespect to Aaron Judge's season last year, which was a great season, but the narrative was already written. He's a Yankees baseball player. He hit 63 home runs, but then you got Ohtani, who's pitching. You know, he's winning like I forgot his record last year and how many home runs he hit, but it was pretty close. Like
yeah,
and I mean he's pitching and hitting. And what didn't help was Mike Trout got all these MVPs in the past years where they were just like, okay, what? Like, why is Mike Trout winning these MVPs? It's not a brand for the MLB. What's a brand? The Yankees. Aaron Judge, big home run hitter. What's he do this year? First at bat, cranks it.
Yeah, of course.
What's he do at the second at bat? He strikes out swinging. I was like, that's the most Aaron Judge thing to do.
What's annoying is they lay it up for him. They do. I mean, it's retarded. You know, the one guy that really I used to despise him, and I still do. I think he's trash, but and I don't know why they don't do this to Judge. But if you remember, Cody Bellinger was incredible for the Dodgers.
Oh, you think he's trash?
I had said for years, when he first started, I said, if you throw that man a curveball, he's not hitting it. So in the playoffs, people started pitching against him. The first time the Astros pitched against Bellinger, they were just throwing sweeping curveballs the entire time. Strikeout. He batted like, I think under 200 for the entire postseason because everybody was throwing curveballs. I'm like, okay, well, why aren't you doing it in the regular season when he's putting 40 bombs up? So now he hasn't been on track ever since because they figured out, hey, he's got throw this guy a curveball. I mean, it's literally the movie Trouble with the Curve. And he's a decent player. He's definitely a professional ball player. But, with Judge, it's like
he chases a lot of pitches.
It's basically this is going to sound funny because he probably is on steroids, but it's basically a Giancarlo Stanton on steroids. It's like this big guy that has all this power and he either hits a home run or he strikes out. So, but Giancarlo Stanton's he's almost like Adam Dunn.
But I will give this a Judge. He's actually a really good defensive player. He's very good at fielding the ball.
This is another point I wanted to make too, that Jacob was talking about, that like before the cheating scandal and after, and then that was the discrepancy. They started throwing him curveballs and blah blah blah, and that's kind of when his downfall started. And then they caught the Astros for cheating because they won the damn thing, and which other people were cheating too. I don't have to get too much into that, but if you're a baseball player and fan and you have played at the next level, you know that every team is doing that shit. So, but yes, Jacob's right. I mean, after all that crap went down, he just went straight down.
Well, the thing about the cheating scandal thing is that, okay, the Astros won, and then they got caught for cheating. The Red Sox won, they got caught for cheating, and they're pissed off at the Astros. They don't really care that the Boston did it. But since that scandal, they've been to the World Series 3 times, and that's not easy to do. I know they didn't win it every time. If they would have pitched Garrett Cole Game 7 against the Nationals, or Game 6, I forgot which game it was. But Garrett Cole, I know he had just pitched before, but he told them, he said, if you need me a pitch, I will go. They didn't use him 6th inning. They start rocking it.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
And now they're like, oh, Astros won last year. It's like they still cheated. It's like, okay, you know what?
Well, I'll tell you this, and this is becoming more and more evident every single year, is like where is the narrative comes from the media outlets, correct? So where is the media stationed? In LA. So when a team in the World Series from a place that's not LA, but a team from LA is in there, so Los Angeles Dodgers versus the Houston Astros, and the Astros beat them, and it's found out later that they cheated. Oh, ESPN, and they're going to eat that up. And then who's the other side? New York. So when the Astros beat the hell out of New York every single year, which is hilarious, I never get tired of it. You sit there and watch, and they're like, oh, but they still cheated. The Yankees fans hate them because their narrative is feeding them this ideology that the Astros are the only ones that cheated. I mean, it's like politics. It's the same thing. So I hate it. It's East and West Coast bias. That's what it is.
I don't even. It's funny. Like people always say they brought up cheating. I don't even talk about that World Series win. Like I don't even talk about it. I'll just be like, oh man, like. They lost the World Series this year. It's like, well, yeah, they cheated in 2017. I'm like, what? I wasn't even talking about that. Like,
yeah. And there wasn't a big drop off of averages or ERA or really nothing that I could remember the following year. I mean, they were still just as good. But every time Altuve struck out, they were like, look, see? And you're like, okay.
Yeah, and then you got people like Joe Kelly who just like despises the Astros, and he's like throwing like the ball at Correa and shit, and he's like doing that little like, because Joe Kelly likes to talk his shit. Like that's a big, wasn't just Cole.
He said Astros could win a home World Series game in 2019. Yes, I remember that. Yeah.
Oh, I wasn't blaming Cole.
Yeah, I know. I don't remember. Yeah, no, we didn't blame Cole for nothing.
Yeah, I wasn't blaming Cole for nothing. I was saying how he told the Astros that I forgot which
big,
game it was. What's up?
So what he just said, that's big, by the way.
Yeah. It's a big, huge, like, it's kind of like what they did with like the Patriots, like how they got caught for Spygate.
Yeah.
And then they also got caught for Deflategate.
Right.
And then they won more Super Bowls after that. Even Tom Brady left and won another one. Like,
Yeah.
it's like, you're going to find your way to diminish these players. And it's like what they do with LeBron. They're like, LeBron wins the title in the bubble, and then it's like, oh, but nobody wanted to be at the bubble. It's like, okay, you thought LeBron's a huge activist. You think he did not – he even said he did not want to play either. But guess what? As a man, you got to go to work. It's your job, He's like, I don't want to be here either. It's like you don't have motivation. You just do it. It's because you have discipline, though. That's what you're supposed to do. There's no motivation, but you got to do it. And they're like, oh, Mickey Mouse championship. It's like, okay, but if LeBron lost it, you'd be like –
Mickey Mouse championship.
They're like, if LeBron lost it, you'd be like, well, LeBron can't, blah, 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 blah.
Oh, boy, huh?
It's only a problem because LeBron won that title. I guarantee if LeBron did not win it, there would have never been a problem with the bubble. And if anybody remembers, they were the 1 seed before the bubble. It wasn't like they were just a fluke. They were the number 1 seed. And
I'm not gonna lie, I was checked out during the bubble because I was so worried about wearing my mask and getting vaccinated. So
I think the most it's kind of fun. It's kind of fucked though. It's like when Luka hit the game winner on the Clippers, Reggie Jackson is guarding him wearing a jersey that says Libertarian on the back of it. And Luka, as a white man, hits a step-back 3 in his face while he's wearing that Libertarian jersey to switch the game. And I was like, oh, my God, bro. I was like, oh, shit. I was like, no way you just did that, bro.
Yeah.
I was like, there's no way. I was like,
oh.
But
all right, so who do you have as AL MVP for your very, very early prediction?
I'm going to go with what Kozo said, and I'm going to go with Ohtani.
Ohtani?
Yeah, I think he'll hit about 35 home runs, bat about 310, probably have about 12 pitching wins, and then, they'll probably finish like last in the AL West. So,
which might swing some votes for the first place team, which I think Yordan Alvarez has a good chance to win it.
That was my second too. He had a pretty good year last year, but like I said, like Aaron Judge just having that spectacular year and hitting the ball.
And unfortunately, Aaron Judge is probably up there too. And
what's funny is Aaron Judge against the Astros 2 outs left in the 9th, game on the line. He could have sent the game to tie the game against the Astros, so the game wouldn't be over, series won't be over. Aaron Judge just pops it up to end the game. I said, off to the next round. Bye-bye.
A lot of people forget about the how young the Blue Jays are as well. Like Vlad Jr. I didn't hear a peep about Vlad Jr. last year, Vladimir Guerrero Jr. He had a great season. They got guys so those are in the power rankings, I would say they're a sleeper team, but don't sleep on a guy like Vladimir Guerrero Jr. And my other 2 sleepers would be Julio Rodriguez in Seattle and Pena. I think Pena
Rodriguez is a dog. He's a dog, bro.
That's a dog. But I do want to say I know we're not going to do too much National League stuff, but I have a sleeper MVP that I think he went off during the World Baseball Classic. I think Trey Turner has a good chance of winning MVP in the National League. I don't know. I think he might be on the juice, but that boy got some power. He steals bases. He's a great infielder. He probably will win a Gold Glove.
It's gonna be hard for a leadoff shortstop to win it. That'd be really tough, though.
Very tough, but I think they'll move him to like second or third in the lineup because he's been extravagant. I don't know. We'll see where it goes. It's a very bold prediction. I'm not counting on it, but I've just seen some great signs from him as I kept track of stuff. Which, disclaimer, the Rangers swept the Phillies to start the season. So, first time they've been 3-0 since 2011, which is a nice feeling. It's usually like, oh, we're 9-20 to start the year. Great. But
hey, those jerseys y'all were wearing yesterday, those are real nice.
Oh, best believe I'm a cop one.
Yeah, I was like, you need a cop one, bro. That's like it's like the Miami Vice jerseys that the Miami Heat wear, bro. It looks nice.
And True Brand came out with a Texas Rangers Dallas hat, so I'm gonna have to cop that one too. It's like baby blue with red.
Yeah, I'm not.
Oh,
You know
yeah.
me. I'm not a Rangers fan, but those jerseys, like, that's gonna.
Well, y'all Space City jerseys are nuts. Those
Oh,
are
the Space City,
great jerseys. Yeah, they talked about bringing back the red, the old one where it says Astros in
Oh
red,
yeah.
black. I was like, please don't. Like, maybe,
I would.
but
Yeah, you should get like a baby blue like DeGrom jersey, bro. That'd be.
oh
That'd
yeah,
be sick.
either him or like maybe Seager. I don't know. I like DeGrom. I'm hoping he stays healthy, but I
What
like
about
Seager
what
and
about what
Simeon.
about what about Seaman?
Marcus Seaman.
Yeah, I
More
was like,
Seaman.
I was watching. I was like, oh look, Seaman got thrown out at second.
Oh look, their leadoff hitter is named Seaman.
You know how mad I was when I was watching that game yesterday, and he like hit the RBI, and then he tried to go for second, and completely got thrown out. Like it wasn't even
Oh,
close.
well, earlier in the game, the previous time he got on base, he got thrown out at second trying to steal, and he wasn't there. He wasn't even close.
Yeah,
JT
so
Realmuto smoked him.
yeah, he like was going. He was rounding to second, and like by the time the second baseman got the ball or the shortstop, he was literally like 3 feet away from the plate. I was like,
Yeah.
I was like, really, bro?
Well, that was the second time that, like, the first time he was the leadoff hitter. He got a leadoff hit to start the game, I believe. I think it was in the first inning. He tries to steal, gets thrown out by a mile. The following pitch or two, Seager seeps one into right field for another single, which would have advanced Semien if he was just stayed on first. And then later in the game, if he got thrown out earlier, the run that scored from that hit to make it 2-1 would not have counted. So
Yeah.
he cost the team almost twice, and he was kind of laughing about it. I was like, boy, ain't nothing to laugh about.
They made him player of the game. He's player of the game. Yeah, he was player of the game yesterday. He had like the interview.
I think I know he had 2 hits. He might have had three.
I think he was 3 for 3.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
he was
good.
hitting the ball pretty well. But
Yeah,
the Rangers, the Rangers, they could definitely. I don't see them winning the AL West. I still got the Stros, but they'll.
Yeah.
I would say in the next 2 years, like I don't know what my Stros are going to look like, but the Rangers, they're cooking something up in Arlington right now. They're cooking something up.
Yeah, and they might make a blockbuster move mid-season if they need an extra boost. But I think that they'll finish second. I think they'll finish second in AL West at best, and that's if they exceed my expectations. I see them no more than 90 wins, no more than 90. I say it at the max record that they have is 90.
They'll probably win like 87 games, like 86, 87.
Right. Yeah.
And then I don't see Athletics really doing much. Athletics are kind of boo-boo.
They're always boo-boo. Moneyball. We know this.
Angels, they're just I don't know what. They'll probably win about 80 games. And then you got the Mariners, a little bit of sleeper. Mariners are very hit or miss.
They always creep up.
Yeah, they'll probably be like right on the Rangers tail end, bro. Like they're gonna be like.
Yeah.
And then I think by game 140, I think the Stros are just kind of gonna start.
Yeah.
Making a push away from everybody.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah, I agree. I agree perfectly with that. So.
Well, we'll see. But the Rangers, basically the expectation this year is just have a good year. Maybe get the wild card. But if anything, this is more of this is for the future. Give it a little bit longer. It's kind of like when the guy for the Sports Illustrated wrote in 2013 when they drafted George Springer, he said 2017 World Series champions. And then what happened? 2017 World champions. I remember that Sports Illustrated, and they brought it up in the World Series, and I was like, oh yeah. I remember.
I'll tell you what, I think Mattress Mac is going to go freaking broke. There's too many Houston and Texas teams that are getting into these finals. Like the Houston Cougars, he bet all that money that they were going to win the championship, and that boy lost. Astros last year. I think did he put a bet on the Cowboys?
I think he did against let's see.
I wouldn't advise that for Mattress
Okay.
Mac. Mattress Mac, come in here and buy a Gallagher furniture. Today, free.
Mattress Mac is worth $310 million.
Oh, chump change. He would tip the valet driver like $1,000 and be like, "Don't spend it all in one place."
But I mean, you can't. The thing about betting is, it's like you got to bet to win. So it's like, yeah, he bet $7 million. He could lose $7 million, which is not fun. But it's like I could win $75 million, and he won $75 million. Like, come on, like,
come on.
You got to bet to win, bro. You can't win the lottery if you don't buy a ticket.
You got to buy a ticket.
You got to buy a ticket. Why are you running from me?
Let's get into our TRAK ranking. This is our top 3. We're not drafting. We're gonna rank them. TRAK ranking, not ADP. Our top 3 disrespectful moments in entertainment and sports history. So times that somebody was disrespected on stage, somebody was disrespected on the field, and this is kind of gathered from what happened yesterday in the women's national championship. This is kind of where I derived the TRAK ranking topic from, which has been a very heated, debated topic.
It's really because it's white versus black.
No, I'm not going to kid you. Yesterday was a straight up race war. It was a race war.
It's I'm telling you, which there's a guy on. I don't know if you know Jay. Do you know Jay Williams from ESPN?
Yeah.
He's been a real. I think he's might be getting off ESPN pretty soon. He's, playing with fire right now. He's like, he was defending Caitlin Clark, and he had Stephen A. Smith who was like not defending, and he's kind of saying like, look at this person, like you like it when they trash talk, and when this person, because it's what are they trying to do at ESPN, make everything a race.
A race, yeah, a racial issue.
A racing when it's just like, I don't know.
Yeah, and it's difficult. And their complaint was, and I'll be real short on this, then we can move on, then you can touch up after. But their complaint is that Caitlin Clark did the same thing in the Elite Eight, where she was on her sideline and she did this, and like kind of was in like her mojo. But then whatever her name is at LSU, there's like 11 seconds left on the clock, and she's in her face, I've got, ring, got her face, like all the way to her bench, and then goes back to hers. And it's just, it was more blatant. It was way out there. And Caitlin Clark's initial one in the Elite Eight was not even directed towards LSU. So what's the beef? I don't know. I thought it was way out of pocket. And I get that sports are competitive, and I accept that, but I'm just saying, like, it was not the same. Those are not fair comparisons. That one was completely different than the other. One lasted 0.1 seconds. The other lasted 15 seconds. So,
it's really, this is going to go back way into time, but if this was said in today's time, it would get so much praise for it. But back then it didn't, because times were different. Back when the Pistons and Celtics were going against each other, you had the bad boy Pistons and you had the Larry Bird Celtics.
This is the 90s or late 80s?
This is like the 80s.
Okay.
And Larry Bird that's white chocolate, badass basketball player, like great shit talker. And Isaiah Thomas goes out and says, if he was a black basketball player, he'd just be another player.
Huh.
Just imagine if he said that, like, right now.
Yeah.
People would be like, oh, yeah. Like, what someone said about Luka. Like,
right.
Oh, if he was black, he'd be another just player. Like, diminishing because since he's white, he can't be great.
Right. Exactly.
And it's like, I just, you see that, and it's kind of like the Caitlin Clark.
It's a mind-boggler.
Like Caitlin Clark, which it's actually crazy because a lot of white women dominate women's college basketball. It's really weird how it does that. Like, not weird, but it's just different. And they see like Caitlin Clark, who's just like, this Iowa girl, white girl, and she's just like balling up, and then they're like, oh, look at this thing, like, nah. She was black. She'd just be another basketball player. It's like, anyway.
That is one of the coldest basketball players in women's college basketball and professional. And I've never watched a professional game in my life, but in women's college basketball, and the only time I watched is March Madness. That's the coldest player I've ever seen. She was pulling up from like Lillard territory.
Well, yeah, because like most girls, actually, I would say 95% of girls who play basketball cannot shoot off the dribble and shoot the ball that far. I'll go 95%, and I think I'm being very nice. I think it's a lot higher.
Yeah.
Because, and it's like, I don't want to get off topic too much, but it's more of like why does somebody want to watch women's basketball or like women's soccer? And when it really comes down to it, it's just not that entertaining. It's really not. You know, you don't have people who are athletic. But if people played like Caitlin Clark, like a lot of people, I bet you people would tune in.
I'm clocked in. But it's very rare. I've never seen a player like Caitlin Clark. I watched her last 3 games, and I was like, oh, my gosh. Like, this chick. And the number 45 for LSU, she couldn't miss. From mid-range, I was like, oh, my God. And I'm telling you, like, contested, off the dribble, she was money every time from LSU. So the talent has definitely grown. And, you know, you're never going to watch a NBA game, let's admit it. But, you know, women's college basketball in the March Madness, that's entertaining.
I mean, it's not sexist to say, like, when you're watching basketball, guy or girl, what do you want to see? Do you want to see someone lay up the ball, or do you want to see someone boom it in the gym and shake the place because you just like went up, dunked on somebody? Like,
right.
If girls were doing that, then they would watch it because they'd be like, that's what they want to see.
Right.
If girls were shooting, you know, Damian Lillard, playing like Damian Lillard, you know, going back and forth, you know, chirping, you know, crossover, you know, no looks, like, it has nothing to do with it being girls. It's just girls don't do that, and it's not entertaining.
Yeah.
Like,
no, yeah, I agree.
If I saw a girl boom on somebody, I'd be like, oh, let's go. Like, come on, like, let's get more of it. But it's not gonna happen. Like, you know, you got Brittany Griner who can dunk, but you know, she likes to. It's another story. That's another topic.
Yeah. BG, welcome home.
BG, welcome home.
That's an all-time great moment. All right, yeah, let's do our track ranking. I can go first. I'll start from 3 and I'll go all the way down to 1, and then you want to switch, or do you want me to just go 3 to 1?
You can go your 3 and then I'll do my 3.
All right, bet. Yeah. All right. So first, I'm going to go with Phil Mickelson to Tiger Woods. So this is when Tiger Woods is about to tee off. This is like probably early 2000s, and he's like the announcer. You know how they announce the golfer when they open up at the tee box? Mm-hmm. So he's, you know, getting his practice swings ready, and they're in the same clubbing group, and she's like, U.S. Open winner, Masters winner, U.S. regional winner, and she does like 7 or 8 of them, and then Phil Mickelson goes, all right, and she stops, and everybody starts laughing, and like that's classic. I like when golf guys diss one another like that. And I remember I hope this one's not on yours, but they talked. You remember when Tiger Woods gave what's his name?
Tampon.
Scott Thomas, I think.
Like a tampon.
A tampon. Yeah, and it blew up on the news how it was disrespectful to women. But then they complain how boring golf is. It's like, bro, that's hilarious. I was like, he hits the ball 100 yards further than him. He's gonna give him a tampon. Like that's a p-word ass swing, boy. Like that's hilarious. But yeah, Phil Mickelson to the Tiger Woods. My number 2 is Taylor Lewan from Bussin' the Boys. His diss to Josh Norman after the Titans versus Redskins game. He walked over to the bench, and he goes. Josh Norman's sitting on the bench by himself, like sobbing. Walks up and he goes, "It's like, boy." And then Norman gets in his face to start getting his squirmish, and he's still like doing it directly in his face. He tries to punch him and stuff, and all the coaches split him up, and that's kind of what made Taylor Lewan probably be podcast worthy. So he's on Bussin' with the Boys right now at Will Compton. They got a good group, which is weird. Theo Vaughn's got beef with them. They're beefing
Oh
with
yeah,
each other.
they're
Have you
beefing
seen that?
right now. Yeah.
Yeah, I have no idea. That was so uncalled for. But it's like leave the guys alone. You're gonna talk about how the Blessing of the Boys have Down syndrome. Have you heard what you say, Theo? And I love Theo. He's hilarious. Probably the funniest comedian out there. But all right,
Yeah, Theo
number
Von.
one. A lot of people forget about this. When Taylor Swift won the VMA award.
Dude, I was gonna say that.
For real?
Yeah, I had that on my list.
Oh my lord.
What Kanye West?
Yes, and Kanye West said, "But Beyonce had the best music video of all time."
Dude,
I
literally had it. I had that, bro.
I watched it the other day, and I was watching like the buildup of it, and I just had this cringy, like my stomach hurt feeling because I'm like, how can you get up on stage and do that? I was like, damn, like that's nuts. I mean, it really was like made my stomach hurt because I'm like, dude, like that is so awkward. I don't know what was worse. Oh, I'm not gonna say it because you might have on your list, but that's a good one. But I'll let you go. But yeah, so Phil Mickelson and Tiger Woods, Taylor Lewan and Josh Norman at 2, and Kanye West to Taylor Swift at 1.
All right. Oh, check. 1, 2, 1, 2. All
Mike
right.
Shea, where my dog's at?
With my number 3 most disrespectful, one of my disrespectful moments.
You have a video for it?
Oh yeah.
I thought about getting videos for mine. Probably would have made it better. Oh, here it is. Oh, dude, I remember you played this on YouTube at the crib, and I was just like giving you.
Let's go!
Oh, hold on. It's not playing on my screen.
Oh yeah. They gotta show the bat flip.
Here, hold on. It's not playing on my screen.
Oh wait, it's not playing.
Okay, it plays right there. Play it from there.
Okay.
There we go. Oh yeah, this is a classic. I need to shit myself moment. After this, dude, trash started flying from behind the stands. That hit right there ended Sam Dyson's career. The pitcher, he never was good after that.
Bro, this bat flip
so
is just.
year.
Oh my god,
Yeah.
bro.
That's so disrespectful. I have to respect it.
Dude, that
was such an annoying postseason. Oh my lord.
Oh, right here.
Dude, Batista, Edwin Encarnacion, Justin Smoke. They used to be cold as hell.
Yeah, that was
classic rewind for sure. And also screw you for that.
It was MLB. I saw the TRAK ranking. I was like, how am I not gonna like play that?
Right.
And then.
I like it. It's chippy.
Yeah. My number 2. I just had to play the video too. That's what I want a video for.
Yeah.
That's what I want a video for. But.
Oh, dude, I should have used it.
Which one? Let's hear it.
Here, go ahead and use yours, and I'll find mine.
Okay. Number 2, I'm gonna have to go with Will Smith going on the stage and smacking the shit out of Chris Rock. That was
That's what I did.
Will Smith was out of line. He didn't need to do that. And if you watched, I know Chris Rock just did a stand-up not too long ago, and he was blaming them, and he wasn't kidding.
Yeah, Jenny too. Can't wait to see it.
Yeah, he was not screwing around. Like he was being very serious, and it's one of those things where you're just like, yeah. So I'm gonna try to find this next one. I'm trying to. I was like, okay, I know how YouTube was kind of messing up last time.
Yeah,
Okay.
mine's doing it right now.
Yeah, you just have to find like a.
Which is what I'm concerned about. I really hope. Okay, no, I'm not. Okay, I thought it was making me live stream on with my personal YouTube account. I was like, oh,
Okay, so so I put Jordan Alvarez in my bet, right?
huh?
And he just hit a 3-run home run to tie the game.
Bro, what was the bet prop?
1.5 bases, so you just need a double.
You got it.
And Jordan being Jordan, when shit starts to hit the fan, what's he do? He comes through. Let's see. I also got looks like Mike Trout has a hit today. All right, my bets are looking okay. They're all right. But at my number 1, everybody who watches basketball knows what this one is.
See it. All right.
And he says,
AI.
Get off me. Look at this. And then what's he do? Get off me.
Oh, yeah.
Little boy.
Tyronn Lue.
He just says, get off me, scrub. Yeah, that was 1-1-3. Just I love watching videos like that. The disrespect and
yeah, those are good ones, bro. I'm trying to find it. For some reason, no videos are working. But,
you have to go on like a different website. Like
yeah,
that's not YouTube. What is it?
Hey, hold on. USA Today. This is it. Okay, this might work. All right. Share the screen. This is what I should have thought of if I was going to be in the same demeanor as you.
Oh God.
What?
Oh man, bro, he smoked that thing.
Smoked that to downtown Austin.
Yeah, he smoked that. I remember that. He definitely.
This is what I should have done. If we were gonna be like that, I would have gone straight to here. This is before either of us cared about baseball, though.
It's funny because they're both 3-run home runs. Shot to right, or shot to left field.
Potater.
Dude, he cranked that thing.
Oh yeah, that's good stuff.
Man, Jordan, bro, it's just different, bro.
Oh yeah, he was so fun to watch last year in the playoffs, especially against, was it Seattle? The Seattle first, where he cranked that one to center field. We were watching it in the living room.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that one. Let's see.
That one got me off my chair. I mean, I was.
Remember we were going
steak,
off, bro.
I was like laid back, drinking some beer, and then just straight over center field. I was like, oh boy. I said, oh, sweet mama Jesus, someone get me up and start me some screaming.
That
Jordan, freaking nuke.
That one was that one was different. He smoked that thing. Now we're just having fun. We're just fucking fighting things. Let's see. And it's funny because 3-run bottom of the 9th. Yeah, he is such a clutch baseball
They're
player.
all 3-run homers.
That's the best way to do it. Like, I know Grand Slam's nice, but it's like
3-run homer, call it a day.
yeah, I mean,
Call it a day terminology. You trying to find it?
I think I found it. I think I found it. I just wish we could play YouTube.
Yeah, I don't know why it doesn't work. I guess it's a live stream to YouTube, but I'm not even on my same YouTube account that I do it with. So it's worked in the past. I mean, it worked just a second ago. That was YouTube. It was just on USA Today. So
You think? I wonder if I can do it. You think I can use YouTube?
you might be able to. Mine's usually the only one that doesn't work.
I mean, when I tried it, like last time, it was not working at all. Okay. You know what's a really hard, which app like never really works? It's Bleacher Report.
Oh, the app doesn't work? I don't have the app for Bleacher Report.
Oh, really?
Yeah. That I don't know. At least I've never really been an advocate for Bleacher Report. They're a key user of the eye emojis.
Oh yeah. Okay. I think I got it. Let's try to see.
Any day now.
Now we're having fun with it.
Oh yeah. Huh?
All right. So, in honor of Alvarez just hitting a 3-run home run to tie the game, now we must show why we think he will probably win MVP.
Oh yeah, this is the one against Seattle. Okay, this is not the one. This one was awesome. Double deck or second deck.
Let's just listen and admire the sound of the ball coming.
Dude, you gotta give it before you play. You gotta give it to the Astros crowd. The Astros crowd always buys in. It is awesome. It makes baseball so electric.
Yeah, the way the crowd gets up, the sound of the ball, like let's just listen.
Yeah. Oh yeah. He's walking with a big pair of nuts right there. That's one of those ones you got to have a slow jog, like a really really slow jog around the bases. To kind of make the pitcher's piss get hot.
Yeah, you
walk with a stanky leg.
It's crazy because he might not all the time, but when there's like a game on the line, he might get the Barry Bonds treatment where they just walk him.
Right.
They might intentionally walk him because he is definitely known to come in clutch when they really need it. He can be hitting like shit, and the next thing you know, like, oh, we need a home run right here. Hold up, I got you, and he just beep 420 right field. See ya. Like,
yeah, that shit went to outer space.
And I was talking to Carson at work. He made a good point. It's like when Alvarez swings, it's like doesn't even look like he's swinging hard. He's just
that's the whole point. They don't teach you to swing as hard as you can. They teach you to swing about. At least my JUCO coach did this, and this is how they taught him when he was in the league was 60%. You don't have to swing hard. The velocity of the pitch does the work for you. You're just relaxed, just straight, quick. It's more quickness than it is power. But if you're swinging with all your might, you lose control. Your head moves. Your shoulders fly out. Nothing really good happens. But those people, they're not swinging as hard as they actually can, which I can only imagine. There are some times, like Juan Soto, he looks like he hits the dog shit out of the ball. Like his arms flail, and you're like, oh, my God. I'll tell you who got really good at it. Is a prime example of relaxing his body, relaxing his swing, and he won an MVP because of it, is Bryce Harper. He used to be that angry, like every time he struck out, he was throwing his helmet, throwing his shin guard, swinging as hard as he could. He
He's
used
a
to
lot more
swing,
finesse.
bro. He used to swing like a 36-inch bat with like the same amount of weight, 36 inches, 36 ounces, just training with basically a lumber stick.
They were talking about it yesterday during the Rangers game, and he's already in his 10th year, and he's only 30 years old. They're like, yeah, you came in the league when you were 20. He's like, what are we expecting? Like 2 more MVPs, a championship?
Yeah,
He's
and
like,
usually baseball is different in a way where
you get in like
get
26.
Better.
Yeah, you like the really, really good rookies come in, and they're like, I started to see a lot more of it recently, but like 21, 22. But now it's like, but the norm for like a good rookie is like 24, 26, and then and then their prime is like for the next like 12 years.
Well, it's crazy. A lot of international players from like Europe or the Dominican Republic or Japan, I should say, not Europe, but Japan and the Dominican Republic and South America.
Like, what the heck? I was like,
yeah, no, I was thinking
about, bro?
I was thinking, overseas basically, but no, like Japan and all that kind of stuff. Sometimes those players don't come in until they're 30. Like Gurriel, I don't think he joined the Astros until he was 30.
Yeah, so. he's like 38.
He's old. Yeah. I don't know who he's playing for this year. I
used to love him.
Yeah, well, his brother's really good on the Blue Jays.
Carlos Correa's brother's on the Corpus Christi Hooks right now.
Respect. Craig Biggio's son's on the Blue Jays as well. Kayvon.
Yeah, he's a second baseman too, right?
He's all right. Yeah, he bats probably like 230 every year. Yeah, he's not bad. But yeah. All right, well, let's get into the news about Andrew Tate.
Of men out there who don't want to wear makeup, who don't want to be girls, who don't want to be told they're toxic because they want to go to the gym, who want to drive nice cars, who want to have money, who want to have hot chicks. And there's nothing wrong with us. We are not evil. We are not bad. We're not misogynistic. We're not out to hurt anybody.
The quote to the top.
When bad things happen, they call men like us. The feminists who hate us and call us toxic. The second they have trouble, they'll call a police officer. Do you think they want a feminist male to turn up or a man like me and you?
They need us. And they use us.
The second we have an opinion, the second I decide to voice and talk about the things that we talk about, explain our point of view, they want to cancel us. They don't want us to speak. They just want us to defend them, build the railroads, build the roads.
Be the workhorse. Be the slave.
And they think we're not allowed our point of view. You can cancel me. I'm about to pave the road for every other man out here with an opinion who's going to get canceled. I'll show you where to fucking go. Legendary video. We used to listen to that before we go to the gym. We'd sit in the car.
It's good. Yeah, it's good. Like,
yeah.
It's just one of those things which I also want to show another video for if y'all ever need some gym motivation. For all my guys out here watching.
Is this the masculine male one?
I know there's a lot of mainly our friends watching it. Guys, if you need some motivation, you're having a rough day, just watch this video.
We'll share it on Instagram.
Boys in their little muscle shirts are not meant to be dominant. Men are meant to be submissive. Short the exercise. I'm just gonna be honest. There are so many better things to do than exercise. When you do that and there's like muscles there, nobody cares about that.
It hurts me to see how connected you
Oh
are.
my god, bro.
You can cry. So it's okay to be weak.
It is okay to be fat.
Goodness gracious.
Strictly for appearance-based reasons, you are fat phobic.
Shit, my bad.
Pause. Digest.
Like, don't be like
hate
this.
that guy, bro.
Do not be like this.
Lord.
Do not be like this.
That guy pisses me off.
And just remember this right here.
Embrace masculinity. Go to the gym, people. Work on your craft. Be competitive. Don't be afraid of success. If the other guy is slipping, don't be afraid to take it for yourself and get 5 steps in front of him. That is the masculine way of things.
There's been a lot of things talking about toxic masculinity. If you want to work out, you want to be a strong man, support, take care of these people around you, look out for those people. And you sometimes you have to stand your ground. Most of the time, if someone stands their own ground to someone, they're not going to like it. They're going to call it toxic masculinity.
Mm.
Does not make you toxic. Stay the course. Now, if you're being a dickhead, doing this to women, all that, that's toxic masculinity. That's a different story. But
Yes.
Being strong, independent, be a provider and all that. That's the masculinity.
Being a protector and a provider.
That's what we want to support on this podcast. That's what we try to strive to be. And, it's one of those things that you need men like that in this world,
So let me give you a prime example. And I want to cut you off here, but the school shooting that happened in Nashville, who was it? It was a transgender woman, and it won't get covered. They're saying that the media is saying that we should pray for the transgender community because they're under attack. But who did they call? Who did they call to get the job done? The body cam footage was released. They're breaking down doors, AR-15s. We used combat to combat that, but it was insane. But when bad things happen, you call men like us. That is what there should be the second that we become weak is when others grow stronger. Because I can tell you this for one thing, no other country is being pussified like us right now. Maybe Europe, maybe like London, maybe them, because they've always been that way. But everyone else is dissing us across the United States, and I freaking hate it. But everyone is dissing Russia, China, and how we're all just a bunch of P words. Not in my house. Not in my house.
And then I saw this video. I know we keep playing videos, but it just feels like one of those days. And this is a TikTok again.
Is this Myron?
No. This is one of Joe Biden's people in his little group. And it says, Justin, just days after a trans shooter shot and killed 6 Christians, it's KJP says that trans peoples are the ones under attack.
Oh, it's press secretary.
Go out to the trans community as they are under attack.
So let me get this right. The trans community is highly upset due to the fact that a few bad apples made some really bad decisions, and they have now placed you all in the same basket as said bad apples, and you're all being hated on and demonized by the general public.
He has a badge. Just a badge right there. It's a cop.
That's like, it sounds wild. It's not fair to be put in the same basket as those bad apples, but I mean, like I said, it'll happen.
Our hearts go out.
Yeah. Now, I will say this. Nothing outrages me more than that. What she said is and excuse my French, but I'm going to let loose here. That's absolute fucking bullshit. That's bullshit. If you protect absolute animals like that, to do what they did, to kill Christians and to kill kids, and you say that they should be protected because of what that person did, that is fucking bullshit. And if you're a normal human being and you have your head on straight, you should agree with that. And if you're on any other side of the fence where you're sort of leading, oh, my heart reaches out to that community, no. There's a special place deep below an eternal fire that those people belong to, that do those sorts of things. I don't care if you're trans. I don't care if you're a woman. I don't care if you're a guy, white, black, yellow, purple, whatever. You deserve to be in a bottomless pit. Kept alive and tortured, something. I don't know.
Yeah, and the thing is, I see a lot of people, they're saying, well, people push these trans to do these things because, they're not nice. And because someone doesn't agree with what you do, does that mean you have the right to go shoot up kids at a Christian school? It doesn't have to be a Christian school. It could just be a school of, it could be a school of atheists or whatever. It's the fact is that you are shooting, like you're killing kids. And it's like, oh, the community is under attack. And they're like, that's not fair. But think about all those cops who, there's obviously, like you said, bad apples. and you got these cops, you know, who do these things, and then now they're like, oh, all cops are bastards. ACAB, you know, defund the police. And it's funny because I guarantee a lot of the trans community is a part of that, but then they get mad when they start that person shoots up the school, and everyone's like, well, I don't like trans people, blah, blah. And they're like, well, why are you coming after us? We're not all like that. And that's what cops have been trying to tell y'all for some time now, that, yeah, just we understand there's bad cops in this country. It more goes into there's bad people in this country. And, you know, they're starting to see like all these, what it's like to get like, you know, scrutinized as a group because of one person's actions.
Right.
And it sucks that, you know, that's the way they have to get a taste of their medicine, which it sucks because like those kids did not deserve that, no matter how you feel about, because you could say that, oh, the Christians made me do this. Did those kids make you do that? Those kids in general? Why'd you pick those kids? What did those kids do to you? Because you were mad at a group of Christians, you went for these kids. And you hit on the spot. It's fucking bullshit.
Yeah.
Really
so
bullshit.
Here's the difference between the two, and the guy that was talking about good and bad apples and stuff like that. So we all know that the media creates the narrative. So what happens is social media has grown so much over the past couple of years, probably the past decade, that they make it seem like what is happening so far away is happening right outside your window. And it happens with police brutality. It happens with politics. It happens with natural disasters. It happens with school shootings, all that stuff. And so what they do, the difference is with cops, they focus on the bad apples. They never shout out the good to paint an image that they need to be defunded, to push a narrative. The same thing, it's completely opposite with the transgender and the gay LGBTQ plus ABCYXC community, is that they only show the good apples. And even when a freaking transgender woman shoots up a bunch of Christian children, instead of protecting the Christian children who were shot and persecuted for being innocent, they protected a bad apple in the transgender community. That is disgusting. I don't care. Like, you have to be on the good side of this, no matter who it is that does that awful thing. You know, but they, like I said, they focus on the good apples for those communities they want to protect, and they focus on the bad apples for the communities that they want to get rid of. And that's the difference. That's why it is so important that they don't control everything. So, and I can go into the biblical side of it, but I don't think we're going to have enough time for that. But I think this country is full of satanic influence, and that's why they don't want to protect Christians.
And, you know, Joe Biden to go out there and be like, oh, it's National Transgender Day.
Yes.
It's like,
Easter.
Like, what the hell? And just stupid shit like that. And then people just like, you know, are just so oblivious to like things like that. Like here, let me.
Well, did you see the press conference that he had when it happened? He went to Nashville. He went out there and he was talking about freaking ice cream.
Oh, don't worry, I got it right here. I'm waiting for it to load. I got it. Trust me, bro. Here we go.
And you know us, we're not too big into politics. It's just these human rights issues, I guess. Human issues. Oh yeah, let's see it. This is nuts. We haven't even talked about Andrew Tate. It's kind of funny. All right. Oh, yours always has 0 volume. I don't know why. Are you sure your volume's on?
Yeah, it's on. I can hear it.
Okay, I can't hear it on my end. Here, let's see. It'll be so much easier when we're in a freaking dining room. Biden. What is that? Let's see.
Here, I'll stop sharing my screen.
Let's Let's see. Hopefully this is it. Gosh. This isn't the same one. That was, what was that? What was that on USA Today?
New York Post.
Oh, bizarre ice cream joke in first statement. Okay. A lot of videos shared in this podcast. Widen. Okay. Let me know if you can hear it.
My name is Joe Biden.
I can hear it.
I'm Dr. Joe Biden's husband. And I ate Jenny's ice cream, chocolate chip. I came down because I heard there was chocolate chip ice cream. By the way, I have a whole refrigerator full upstairs. You think I'm kidding? I'm not. God. Ben, how are you, pal? One of the best guys in the United States Congress, Ben Cardin.
I cannot stand that man.
Yeah, that's bad. The only reason I came down here is because they have chocolate chip ice cream.
Ugh.
You know what I feel like they're laughing at? When hold on. This is what I feel like they're laughing at. Load. This is what I feel like when they're laughing at what Biden says, that this is their reaction. This is what they're being told to do. I just feel like, literally, it's like, I'm not here to chocolate ice cream. And they're like, yeah, somebody please laugh. It's one of my all-time favorite memes. Oh, all right. Well, let's dive in a little bit of Andrew Tate. Save a little bit of time. But so, in a nutshell, if you do not know who Andrew Tate is, he is a masculine influencer on social media who influences a strong masculine presence of modern day men, young guys like me and the kid here. So he's a former kickboxing champion, and he's huge on the platforms. He goes on podcasts across. He's been interviewed by some tough moderators. He's been interviewed by some YouTube streamers, but he's grown a lot of influence over the past 2 or 3 years. He had a beef. He got reinstated on Twitter after Elon Musk took over and had a beef with Greta Thunberg, which was uncalled for. It was funny. He was just kind of trolling, and Greta Thunberg said something back to him, and days or hours later, he released a clapback video against Greta with a pizza box in it, which people speculated it gave up his position, which is not actually reality. Something else gave up his position, but a lot of people said it was the pizza box. So they made fun of him. The headlines, Greta clapped back with a comment and said, like, you should have joked around with climate change. So they locked him in a Romanian prison. Andrew Tate says that this is the Matrix going after him. So he's been in a Romanian jail cell for since last year. He has no electronics, no outside contact, absolute clarity of mind, real thoughts, real plans. So yes, I think on Friday, I believe the 31st, Andrew Tate and his brother Tristan were released from jail in Romania and placed under house arrest for 30 days instead, according to court documents. So they were in a detention facility in Bucharest just before midnight local time. Andrew Tate took to Twitter after his release, posting a smiley face emoji and a link to sign up to his website saying, "Email regarding my release will be sent in 24 hours." He sent, and I'll show you all the video of him pacing his room. We can contemplate what his next steps are. He's quite an interesting guy. I can tell you this, though. He did some push-ups when he was in the pen.
Yeah, he was big.
So they suspect him of sex trafficking and money laundering. Neither have been confirmed true. There is a story behind the suspicious sex trafficking, but it doesn't really have any correlation to the accusation. It's a pretty shot in the dark. It's a lot like the Jonathan Majors ordeal. And the money laundering, that is something, if there was anything I could see Andrew Tate doing, it's probably money laundering. I mean, he owns casinos and stuff like that. So, that's something I could totally see. And they're looking for anything to indict him with. But, I mean, our protectors of masculinity are all getting attacked. Andrew Tate, Donald Trump, people like those. They're all getting locked up, indicted, charged. Guilty until proven innocent.
I agree.
So, yeah, I mean, let's see. Do you think he should have been locked up in the first place?
If they had full proof of him doing it, then yes, of course. But of course, the whole time they were saying, we're going to lock you up until we find evidence. And that's why they released him, because they never actually found evidence of any of this. It was more of like what it seemed like. It was them trying to distract the world from something else. Arrest the top influencer, and also Donald Trump, who is planning on running again for presidency. Also, kind of talked about on the side about Russia and China teaming up, and then he gets indicted a week ago.
Yep.
And it's just all about distractions, distracting from what's actually going on. So when he makes next time he does a podcast, I'm not even kidding, there'll probably be like 10 million people watching.
Yeah.
It's going to be insane because everyone wants to hear his side.
Yeah. I think they unlocked a beast. I think they awoke the beast, as I should say. Which is why I'm surprised if they let him go after 30 days. I'd be surprised.
Yeah, it's more of just like, I get like he's this like big influencer, Andrew Tate. It's like, you don't arrest someone then try to find evidence.
Right. That's where I was going to go with it.
You have evidence to arrest them, and then you charge them. But the whole time they're just having them locked up in Romania, and there's no quite evidence of what's actually they don't have any. So they sent him on house arrest. I think that's more so he doesn't flee the country. If I had to take a wild guess, to not flee the country. So, I mean,
yeah,
where do you go from there?
I don't know. It's a very, because a lot of people who don't know who he is have a very tough time of keeping track of what's going on. Whereas people like us, we keep up with that sort of thing, and we've, heard a lot of what he has had to say. But I always say that people that have only heard little bits and pieces of Andrew Tate think he's a misogynistic piece of shit. But the people that listen to everything he has to say, including guys like Joe Rogan, and there's a European moderator, or I'm not sure.
Piers Morgan?
No, there's him, but there's another guy. He's more like tan-skinned, but Joe Rogan shouted him out. He asks very difficult questions, and all three of those, he's very well reverended, I guess is the word to say. Like he's a very smart dude. He says very intelligent things. And there are times, yes, where he's going to troll. He's going to say bitch. He's going to say stuff like that. And he's going to joke around and say he's going to pop one of his friends in the, like, he's got a comical side to him. But people that don't know anything about him take that seriously. And I think that's retarded. It's like taking Theo Vaughn seriously. Like, bro, like he's joking 99.99% of the time. There's never a dull moment where he's serious. But Tate does not change his tone when he's talking. He could be talking about something serious and have the same tone. He can talk about something funny and has the same tone as if he's being serious. But no, it's very wishy-washy. Like, again, it goes back to do your own research. If you really want to find out the truth about somebody, go listen to it. It's just like religion. You want to learn the truth about Jesus, go read the Bible. It's the word of God. You want to learn the truth about the Quran or Muhammad and Allah, go read the Quran. And if that's your truth, then, you find that. But, that it's the same thing with Andrew Tate and politics and everything. You can't just blindly speak on it.
Yeah.
And I think that's what a lot of people do. And I always call him out for it. I'm like, look, it sounds to me like you don't know what anything he says, because he also says this, and he says this, and he says this. And they go, what, where did he say that? And you're like, okay, well, here, look. But they always go, oh, yeah, he said, like, calls women, like, bitches and whatever, and, like, disrespectful towards women. And guys even say that, too. I'm like, you don't even listen to what he – those are jokes. But you can't joke in this society. I don't know. But the whole allegation thing, like you said, I agree with it. I'm not sure if they had evidence in the first place. I think it was all speculative. I think it was all he said, she said, with like the woman that was in their house that asked for a ride outside their place. Like, it's he said, she said. It's not like there's any concrete evidence to lock him up. So that's.
I mean, he got released, so it's like, okay, so now all those people said he did what he did. He's not in jail. Where do you, as that person who thought he did it, where do you go from there? Like, are you like, no, I think he did it. So then it goes back to like, okay, so you think he did it, so then you're not going to change your perception of him,
right?
Because it's like, with the like the bitches talk and all that, like, yeah, he's literally just messing around. But when you ask him like a really serious question, and you just hear him talk, you're like, okay, yeah, he's definitely. Because at the end of the day, like, he actually does, like, respect, like, all people. Like, it's not like,
Yeah, when he's joking about, like, bimbo activity, he's going to describe it, like she cheats on him or something like that. That's when he uses that word. But then he turns around and he says, women are one of the most precious things in the world. Men should protect and care for them. And, he goes way into depth about that. And especially with, like, just being a man in general and, making the best version of yourself so that you can have the best woman. But nobody hears that side of him unless you really watch it.
Like, when you hear him talk about how he's like when he talks to Aiden Ross, like, he used to just fry his ass up. Like, he was just like, bro, you're not shit. Like, you don't do this. Like, you're lazy. All you do is eat your meat, smoke weed. Like, what do you bring to the table? Like, of course she left you. Like, what? Like, go better yourself.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the whole point. So it's like, and I think the thing is, like, women don't want, like, a man. Well, they do want a man, but then when they see a man who they had who was kind of like a pushover, kind of like, letting him get away with this, and then that man changes and he's like, yeah, I'm not putting up with that. Like, no more. Like, I'm done with that. And then they're like, what? Where'd you get this from? Like, you should be like this. It's like, well,
self-respect.
I respect myself, and it's like, just finding that way to better yourself. And just because it's also like when I listen to people, I can listen to a bunch of people, but I don't listen to everything they say. It goes for anybody. It goes for,
right.
Like,
what do? You develop your own opinions on the matter.
Well, when I tell people, it's like, they're like, oh, you watching? Like, blah, 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 blah. It's like, okay, do you agree with everything your parents say?
It's like, no, I'm rebellious.
It's like, no, I don't agree with it. It's like, okay, then I don't agree with everything he says, but I can still agree with him in other aspects. So just like when you...
I mean, I don't agree with everything that Andrew Tate says. I don't agree with everything Myron says. I don't agree with everything Trump... I don't disagree with everything Biden says.
Yeah, it's like, just because you listen to someone, and then people get so mad when I use that analogy about, like, your parents. Like, you don't listen to everything your parents say. I was like, are your parents always right? It's like, well, no. It's like, okay, but do you still listen to them? Well, yeah. It's like, there you go. Like, look at it like that, and you really realize you'll get a different picture of everything about when people listen to this. It's kind of like, oh, you listen to this, so you're this.
Right.
oh, your dad said that. Well, he's this then. Like, you know, like
Yeah.
your mom said that. Oh, she's this. Like, you know, you're just generalizing because your parents said it. It's like, oh, that's how your parents believe. Well, their parents said that. Well, no, they're not. Because it's like, well, don't do that to other people then. Don't generalize other people
Yeah.
like that. And you know, it's like I love using people's logic on themselves because then
It works.
Because then people think about what they just said, and it's like, okay, are you going to stick to what you just said, or are you going to try to move the goalpost? And that's why I always just listen and just be like, all right, well, that's your logic. Well, here's this logic with the same thing.
Usually when they get highly emotional in those moments where you're calling them out on their own logic is because you caught them off guard if they don't know how to defend their own opinion because they messed up. They generalize you in a position and then move the goalpost. It happens a lot. It happens in sports. It happens in politics. It happens in this. You know, it's like, well, you know, I think I said something at work one time in front of one of our, I guess, feminist coworkers, and I can't remember what it was, but I said, all women do this. It was something like that, or most women do something. And she was like, well, you're like generalizing all men, like all men all men like do this, and like generalize us back. And then you came out of nowhere and you were like, didn't you just generalize men? And she was stuttered. She literally was like, and you were like, got him. You know, we both started laughing because I'm sitting there like, what are you talking about? And you came in and swooping in. You were like, used her own logic against herself, and she got real offended and walked off. And didn't really have much to say because she was doing the same thing that I was doing. I was just strong enough to be like, okay, yeah, I generalize it, but it's a joke. You know?
Yeah, I mean, I don't care.
You can double speak, you know.
It's more of like, and I like people can do the same thing to me. They can try. I say logic, just do the same logic to me, and I would be like, well, yeah, that is my logic. But it's like when you have that logic, and then you're like, okay, well, let me say something that you're probably not going to agree with, but I'm gonna use your logic while saying it, and it makes them. It's like, okay, are you going to stick to your point? What you
it kind of loosens them up a little bit.
It's like you're gonna stick to your point about what you just said, or you're gonna try to defend your point by changing the goalpost, and then that's where I'm like, okay, I don't take the logic seriously.
Yes,
obviously, you have
it's a very good disqualifier. And you're talking like that, and they go, "Oh, but that's just this and this and whatever." And you go, "Okay, what about this? Since you said this, what about this then?" And they go, "Ah!" And they freak out. Like then you're like, "But if you have a guy sit back and go, well, I never thought about it that way, but what I'm trying to say is this," then you have a conversation. You have something. Yeah. If they're under control, you know, it's like a lot of people don't think before they speak anyway. They just kind of blab out the first thing that comes to their mind, whereas people kind of like us, we kind of sit back and digest what was said, and we have an intelligent response.
Yeah, it's all about just kind of trying to. It's like chess, not checkers, you know.
Yeah.
If you're gonna say something, like, be prepared for someone to say something to you, and you gotta be like, okay, this is why I think that, and I'm not gonna move the goalposts. And it's kind of like when I argue about like NFL quarterbacks. Like I have the same criteria for all of them. Like I understand that like some people have more, some people have less, but you know, you can look. I don't like to go off like one season saying someone's the best, but some people have it different. People like Mahomes, where you're just like, okay, that dude's just different. And then, you know, obviously what he does is clarified. I don't think anybody has a question if someone's better than him now.
Yeah.
And it took him 5 years for people to be like, wow, actually.
Right. The best thing to do as someone who wants to grow in, I guess, communication externally and internally, is to never be the smartest guy in the room. You know, you always want to challenge yourself with people that are stronger in verbal conversation than you are. And that helps. You know, so that's our only way to do that a lot of times is to listen to people like an Andrew Tate, like a Myron, like a Sneeko, like a Jordan Peterson, like a Ben Shapiro, like anyone. Could be anybody. And, you know, a lot of those guys are on the conservative side. Some of them don't have a side. They're right in the middle. I like to get a mixture. But yeah, like I feel like that's the smartest way to do it. You gotta never be the smartest guy in the room, especially as you grow up as an adult, because you want to learn.
Yeah, you're always capable of learning.
Because if you're in a room with a bunch of dummies, then what are you going to be? You're going to be dumbed down to their level. But if you're in a room with a bunch of people that are just like you, like when me and you are together, we click, we have fun. Those are your friends. You don't want your friends to be way smarter than you. You want them to be on your level. That's why you're friends. But if you're trying to learn something and you're trying to grow professionally, religiously, whatever it may be, politically, talk to somebody that's smarter than you.
Just listen.
Just listen. Don't talk as much. Listen. Ask questions. That's why Joe Rogan
Answer. Respond with a question.
Yes.
Because it shows you're listening to what's actually being said. That's why.
Take notes, women.
Yeah. It's just, when someone tells me something and I digest it, and then I say, okay, yeah. So then that equals this to that. And it's like, okay, now this person's like engaged. Like, okay, this person's actually listening about what the hell I'm talking about. Now let me just like keep explaining more, and then, just be a good listener. Being a good listener will get you far in anything you do. It can be a relationship, it can be work, it can be, faith, all that. If you just listen, take in the message, ask questions, you'll end up learning a lot, and then you can build up on that and learn even more, because you can always learn. Nobody knows more. Nobody knows everything about everything. So it's like,
that's how you form your own opinions about things.
Yeah, be a learner, and then at some point you'll be able to be a teacher. Well, as you're a teacher, even though you might be the smartest person in the room, don't try to, dumb someone down, because, at the end of the day, they want to learn too. And you were once in that spot. So. Right.
All right. The last thing I'll say on this topic is The Matrix was and Andrew Tate's main thing that a lot of times he says escape the Matrix. Well, the deep state basically controlling everything, sort of deal. The Matrix was released to theaters on March 31st, 1999. Andrew Tate was released from Romanian detention on March 31st, 2023. Is it a coincidence? You guys decide. But I thought that was interesting. All right, well, let's get into some sports betting, that's all you, brother. You won a jackpot. I think you've been close all weekend, which I guess you can go through all that however you'd like to.
Yeah, just a little quick touch up. So I started betting on opening day of baseball, and on the first day, let's see. Or no, I bet on the second day. I started on the second day.
Mm-hmm.
So I went.
Because you watched I had opening day bets. I had DeGrom, Seager, Trey Turner. I had Rangers and Phillies, and you said good looks, and you were watching DeGrom pitch, and they took his prop was at 8 strikeouts. I went higher. He had 7. They pulled him in 3.2 innings, and then the next day you put a baseball bet in.
So I put in $20 6 leg for $500. So then I went Yordan Alvarez, the pitcher for Houston. I don't know how to say his last name, but his first name is Jose. Urquidy. Sonny Gray, Kevin Gausman, Zach Wheeler, Brendan Woodruff. These are all pitchers and then one hitter. Went 5 for 6. I only won $40. I was like, shit, that close. I was a few points away from winning the jackpot. But like I said, you can't win the lottery if you don't buy a ticket. So what I did was I placed another bet.
Scared money don't make money.
So then I went Kawhi Leonard, Herbert Jones, and then I went the pitcher for the Guardians, Aaron Civale, Clayton Kershaw, which Clayton Kershaw still got it.
He's still dirty.
Russell Westbrook and Trey Murphy. That also went 5 for 6. So I won another $40. I was 2 strikeouts away from 500. Whatever. I placed a gaming bet. Whatever. I went to sleep. I placed.
Well, how did the gaming bet do?
The gaming bet was every guy who missed by like 2 kills, and I only got 3 right out of 6. I lost my money. But I went to sleep. I just placed money, went to bed, called it a day.
Sleeping on a prayer.
Yeah, so then yesterday, I placed a bet, and I placed another 6 leg, and I went 5 out of 6 again. So I'm rage betting because
Major blue balls.
I'm so close to getting a jackpot. So then I rage bet, and I placed two bets, and I placed 2 6 legs, and on one of them, right when it started, like this guy I bet on his first half points, and in the first 5 minutes he had 2 fouls, and I said,
Lord.
Chalk the bet. I said, just chalk it. I'm done betting for the day.
Yeah.
Somehow this dude comes back in the game eventually and just goes off. He hits. Next thing you know, everyone starts to hit. And I'm waiting on one more guy. The LA pitcher, Tyler Anderson, or the Angels pitcher.
Okay.
And he needs 33 fantasy score, and I'm at 20. I was at 24. And I said, okay, I need this guy to get at least 1 strikeout, and I need him to get back in the game because he's at 80 pitches in the 5th inning.
Oh, boy. Yeah.
So he's going to the 6th. I was like, okay, I need him to get 1 more inning. So that's 3 outs. I need about 1 strikeout. And then I'll be a quality, and then they're winning. So I was like, I'll get a quality start, quality win. We'll hit the jackpot.
Right.
Goes in there with 80 pitches. Gets 3 outs. He gets 2 strikeouts. Quality win, quality start. Last guy on both parlays. Smoked for a grand total of $730 win. And in total, I won $800 on Saturday. And I was
730 bones.
730 bones, and I was 2 people away from winning an extra 1K.
Bro,
So
imagine.
Basically,
like you said, if I can only imagine.
Out of 24 people, I got 22 of them right. And because of 2 of them, I lost out on $1,000. So I'm on a hot streak, but that's about to end right now because my bets right now are shit. So we're going to take a break for about a day. I get paid again. I'm placing another bet, and we're going back at it. We're going to go for the 66. We want it all.
Yeah.
It's Monday.
Monday, Carlos. We want it all. Tell you what, eat America.
Put your money in. We're going to get it. We are going to hit more bets. We're going to keep y'all posted. And let's get this money. You do not have to use my bets because I'll probably be on a cold streak for now. But I was hot for a while. You want to make some money? Please let me know. Like I said, I will gladly help. I will be a teacher, but I will also listen. If you have props, I will listen to you.
Right.
We talk about it, and we place a parlay, and let's both make that money.
Hit him up on Instagram at @HunterPool_.
Hit me up at Hunter__pool.
So I will say this on my behalf. I have not been betting a bunch. For those, I'll get a little personal. I have switched banks. So I had to get a cashier's check from a larger bank to go to a local bank, and it took like 21 days. It was ridiculous. So for about 21 days, I had $200 or whatever. So and I got paid once for doing a little side gig or whatever. So I'm like, I didn't have much to work with. So I haven't betted in a minute. My first bet was on opening day last Thursday. So I'm also been bouncing around with interviewing for a job, which I can announce probably midweek this week, which is a relief. But I will be back in the betting game soon. But it's always nice to see my boy, the kid, have some success in the betting arena. So shout out to the kid.
I just want to show one beautiful thing.
Let me see.
This is how nice it looks.
Oh.
And then you see the big old
I couldn't have another.
500 bones. Which another thing I will say about betting: do not bet money if you do not have it.
Yes.
But if you have money to spare, you don't have to. I like to do 6 legs because I'm kind of a dickhead.
We kind of have a universal rule. We'll sometimes go above the margin, but our margin kind of stays at 20. It's sometimes if let's say we have 80 to play with, you might throw a $40 bet in there, but that's not personal money. We don't deposit 80. We only deposit 20. And then we maybe do a 10 bet and a 10 bet, but we don't have money to go throw $100 out there and be like, yeah, $100 for this bet. No.
If I had $100 to spare, I would definitely throw down $100 6 leg for $100, 25. That'd be $2,500.
$2,500 mother effing bones.
But the kid doesn't have the money like that quite yet.
But the kid almost made a little over 700 bones.
Yeah, so we made about $800 on Saturday. Over the week, let's say we placed about $100 and we won about $950. Sometimes you gotta play some money. I get paid in a couple of days. I have a pretty decent paycheck. I already got some groceries, got the gas, paid rent. Right. We're good. Now we straight betting now. We straight betting now.
BOOIFE. All right. Well, so that covers betting, and we'll announce. We got some upcoming announcements. So we are just now starting to look. I know a lot of people are telling us every time me and Hunter are in person, they go, "You guys need to sit in the same room," and we're like, "Yeah, dummy, we know, we know, but it costs money to get the good stuff." So this is our rough draft, if you will. But sooner or later we're gonna have a house together. We're gonna have. I've got a guy that is going to basically hit me up with a quote for podcasting equipment. We'll have a new residential platform where we'll have a place where we can speak in the same room, which will be really exciting. The target date is in August. We got which is a long ways away, but as soon as August hits, that's when primetime football, fantasy football season starts. So that could be a very electric time for this podcast. And we'll also be including in-person guests, both on Hunter's side of the spectrum and on mine. We'll have some returning guests as well. They're going to be in person. And then we'll also have a little idea that I did with Big T. We might start doing these scripted stories, kind of like what you see on South Park that makes you just burst out laughing. Kind of a voice acting sort of gig. But we'll make hypothetical scenarios and we'll have people be a part of it, and you basically anyway. But it'll be like a comedy purpose for it, just to kind of give some people some more entertainment. But me and Hunter are very excited for the podcasting equipment. We're gonna get out our checkbooks to get some good stuff for everybody.
We're definitely we have the same thoughts y'all have. We talk about it a lot behind closed doors. We're going to get it going. This is just kind of touch up on our craft. And at the end of the day, we like going on here, just shooting the shit, because we do this all the time. So we might as well let's put on a platform to see where it goes. And, we enjoy it 100%. We love doing this and we're excited to, get this equipment, and maybe it goes off, maybe it doesn't. But at the end of the day, we're still going to have a lot of fucking fun. So. Yeah,
I think
we're excited.
I think it's worth it. I think it is very smart for us to do what we're doing right now, so that when we get to that point where we have the mics and the headsets and the equipment, we're ready to go. All we need to do is just learn how to work the technology, and it's gonna go up from there. Even if it doesn't get monetized, even if we don't get the guests that we really want, even if all that doesn't matter. This is a break away from your 9 to 5, your Monday through Friday. This is something to give you a laugh when you get off work, and or an entertainment. And so we absolutely enjoy it.
Yeah, definitely. When we move in and all that, have our jobs, Sundays will definitely be the episode. Yeah. Definitely Sunday.
Definitely Sunday.
Just depending on how the podcast is doing itself, we'll throw in maybe a Thursday or
right.
But definitely Sunday. Primetime football. We'll probably do we could talk fantasy. We'll probably start around 7. Sunday night football game, we'll probably have it on the screen. Talk about what happened in the day. Sunday, it's going to be awesome, and we're going to be so excited. Prime football, prime fantasy.
Oh, yeah.
Guys, just give it time. We're coming. We're coming. We're coming!
Ready to run through a wall!
What is
All right.
football?
War!
Yeah.
That's hilarious. I'm sorry. What is football? War!
War.
All right. Well, this is episode 14 of the Rook and The Kid podcast. I appreciate y'all's support. And for any of y'all that tuned in, appreciate the medical guy for his comments. We'll have some clips out for you guys shortly. But thanks for tuning in. We will see y'all maybe Sunday. Dates to be announced. But
All right. Sunday is Easter, so
probably off that day. Very well.